What Walla Walla, I tell them about is a really high quality of life, more or less like David talked about. Yeah, we have 300 days of sunshine, but then so do a lot of places. But what really, I think, separates us is the great historic nature of Walla Walla. The remoteness of the city, I think, contributes to a large part of what it's become, because we're not in a metro area where we're now in the shadow of a Seattle or a Portland or San Francisco or LA. We've developed our own character, our own personality. It's just amazing, the activities, the cultural opportunities. For our size population, it's just an amazing place to be.
Local people already, local residents. So we've been here so long, people know where we're at. We've been here for 50 years.
Well, the store was founded in 1906 by Christian Falkenberg. And then my grandfather went to work for him in 1913. My grandfather ended up buying a store from him, and then my dad worked in the store, now I'm in the store, and then my son's in the store. Our business, I wouldn't say is really tourist-driven much at all. I mean, what we've found is most of the people that come here for the wine touring, they like to drink wine and eat, and go to bed and get up and do the same thing the next day. So, I mean, we get the occasional tourists walking in, but when they have the big wine weekends, they're not really interested in shopping too much as far as we're concerned. Tourism, it's a little bit, but it's not an important part of our business, or a big part of our business, I should say. I mean, it's all important, but it's not like we depend on it.
Business was opened 14 years ago, and I've been in the Walla Walla Valley for 40 years, a little over 40 years. And yeah, tourism keeps changing. When I first opened 14 years ago, it was just starting to be a tourist destination, of course, driven mostly by wine. And I'm finally seeing some of the wine tourism come home to roost for me, because at first I thought there'd be a chunk of my business, and it never was for a long time. It seemed that the tourists were focused on wine and a good meal, and they weren't really thinking about children. So anyhow, it's definitely changed in that my business is getting more and more tourist month oriented. In other words, April through everything else. Normally, being on the boardwalk is a lot of times all you need. Right. Once people are walking by, there's really not a lot more marketing that you need to do.
When I talk about branding, I hate using branding because it's just kind of marketing speak. I usually use identity. There's a certain thing that is Walla Walla, that is an identity. We help that identity by creating a great place to live that comes down to the streets, infrastructure, just kind of fostering that way of life, and especially that neighborhood cohesion.
Connectivity and the scale of our city is another attraction for people to come here. When people come out of that busy, crazy city where you're so anonymous, and now you're downtown on Main Street, Walla Walla, it's, we walk downtown, and I make it a habit to pretty much, I don't greet every person I see on the sidewalk, but probably 70-80% I'm saying, hello, it's another great day in Walla Walla, how are you doing today? And for visitors to come here and experience that, and they've told us this, there's just a whole change in their feeling and outlook when they come to Walla Walla. They're more relaxed, their guard is let down a little bit, they feel that they're in this safe, small town environment. But there's just that feeling you get in Walla Walla where things are safer, slower, sweeter, and it comes through. These people are able then to buy a second home, spend more time here, maybe they'll retire here. Some of these people are CEOs, chairman of the boards, they're going to move a piece or all of their business here. And we've seen that time and time again here. So it started out as a visit to come over and see what this whole new Walla Walla is about and buy a bottle of wine or two and maybe have a nice meal. Results in people purchasing real estate, hiring contractors, outfitting their homes, moving their business here, creating employment. And so it can be a really powerful driver. It's just not always obvious right up front when you think of tourism, right? And how do we preserve these aspects of Walla Walla as we move forward in the future, and more people have the ability to move here, live here, and bring their businesses here? We don't want to just become another city of 100, 150,000 people. How do we keep that uniqueness and that special spirit of Walla Walla alive and vibrant in the future that we want to enjoy as residents? That's one of our toughest challenges.
We market to tourists, and when they come to town, we operate a visitor information kiosk, which has information, flyers, maps, handouts, specials, kind of anything that businesses want us to entice visitors to come to their business or try their product or whatever it might be. And we focus more on just branding and telling the story that's already there. And our role is more to just have it in people's minds is kind of our focus. So we want people to, Walla Walla, oh yeah, that's, you guys are in the corner of Washington and it's sunny and dry and you guys have wine. And then we try and focus on Walla Walla's history, as well as arts, culture, recreation, just kind of all the things that people like to do when they go on vacation. We do a lot of print advertising. Because most of the people we're trying to reach still read magazines quite a bit, surprisingly. But we are moving a lot more towards digital, just because we can track what happens a lot easier. So we can see how many times people viewed an ad, we know how many times people clicked on our book here or click here to book a trip or stay or whatever it is. So digital allows us to track a lot more clearly, so we know what's working, and we can make sure that we're the best stewards of those tax dollars. We put out kind of calls for, hey, who's interested in visiting? Here are the things that we can buy a one-night stay, or we can make sure you get a free dinner and try and make it so that they'll come on their own time and visit and write about it and share and do the Instagram stories and Snapchat, basically, share everything that they do. Basically kind of live a trip to Walla Walla and show it to everybody else so that they can go, oh, that sounds awesome, we want to go. The biggest reason for our primary is, it's kind of simple, is that wine is expensive, and the people that tend to have the most money are older adults who are already, senior managers, executives, leaders, business owners, who've established their careers and have salaries that can support hobbies like wine. And we found that couples that want to travel for fun, a romantic getaway, just sort of a weekend away, is we see a lot of people who come as tourists and are looking to retire or buy a second home in town. And that's one of the things that we actually see a lot more, is it's not so much the businesses or people trying to develop tourism in town, it's people who have come and visited town, loved the tourist experience, and now they're moving to town or buying a second home. And so we see that actually having more of an effect on our local area than just tourists in general. It seems like Walla Walla is in a bit of a plateau. We just think about, we have the second highest, if I'm getting my data right, we have the second highest wineries per capita in the nation on the Napa Valley. So we have just a lot of that going on. So it's kind of like we're kind of at the max that we can support until we keep growing, until more people move to town. But then we need more grocery stores, we need more clinics, we need more schools, we need more. So it's kind of, we're at this spot where what comes next is kind of dependent on what other people make.
See that? I don't know, 50 years out, the reality is, it's really difficult for me to sit here and even understand where Walla Walla is going to be in 10, 15, 20 years at the rate of change. I know there's going to be more technology in our future, but I hope that the essence of Walla Walla is still here, that we still feel like this small town.